They have bought it, they've acquired it. Or part of them.
But they have
Well, they're the center stage people, but they always ask me, I'm doing a pledge for one. It's been a bit.
literally wake you up when he started it here. I said, yes. You just couldn't help it. It was noisy.
Sometimes they come up.
Since they won the turboprops, you don't hear them. In fact, you don't hear them till they come over your house. They're so much quieter. So that's yours.
So every
right
now
now.
and then, so far since the airport's pretty, it's kind of the way it's a little north and south. We are like a wide belt area. The entrance and
There you go. Good.
so, I heard John Meridian on Wednesday. I see our cargo flying every morning.
Is everybody else confirmed?
And it's, I love
All
it.
the fun stuff.
I do get all the fun
Aaron
ones.
confirmed. Yep, and Rob confirmed.
6:30 shows up earlier than you'd expect.
Oh, geez.
Well, let's go ahead and begin. And we'll see if we got two more commissioners coming. Would like to welcome you to Plan and Zoning Commission on February 22nd. We've got a few things on the item today, but we'll first start with the Pledge of Allegiance with Jim Lawrence leading us in that.
Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'd first like to recognize that our chairperson, Sally Smith, is out of town today, and I'll be filling in her role. Katie, go ahead and begin with roll call.
Vince Haley,
Here?
Todd Marks, Randall Kempton,
Here.
Sally Smith, Aaron Richards,
I'm here online. Aaron is online.
Jim Lawrence,
Here.
Bruce Casper,
There.
McKay Francis,
Here.
Vanessa Johnson,
Here.
Rob Woodall, Brian Thackeray.
Here.
Okay. We need to have an approval of the planning and zoning minutes from our meeting on February 8th. Anybody like to move for that?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Jim Lawrence,
Second.
second by McKay Francis. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? And I will abstain.
I will as well.
Okay. A couple of things before we get going. One, Alan, are you presenting these tonight? Okay.
Unless he is online. He mentioned he was going to try to make it up here.
Okay.
Dan's online?
Aaron's online. Before you even start, got a couple students here, all from Madison High, all from government class. Awesome. Tell me, what is your assignment? Why are you here?
It really just is observing a local government meeting. You just see what you guys do.
Cool.
And then we just write down kind of, like a big part is like major issues or if anything is controversial, but that's planning and zoning. So
Yeah.
I don't expect much of it, but that
Well, you guys picked a really good meeting because it's probably not going to be controversial and it's probably going to be super quick, but you'll get credit for it. So, and Caitlin, you'll be affected by this meeting tonight. So, yeah. Okay, Alan, before you present, I know we've got one new commissioner here and maybe two by the time he gets here. Will you explain to us what our responsibilities are and what our responsibilities are not in approving a plat like this?
Okay. Thank you, Vice Chairman. Commissioners, when you're looking at a plat, basically what's happened is this has all been presented to staff. Staff is looking at, do they meet the requirements of the code? Do they have the right size lots? Do they have the easements in place? All of those types of things. And also, do they have the infrastructure designed for sewer, water, roads? What's going to be dedicated to the city, if it's parks or roads or whatever's in there? And we review all of that, and then after we're done, we actually send it to the county surveyor, who makes sure that all of the legals are correct on top of that. So that comes in, and we make sure it's all correct before we bring it in front of you guys. You're making that review of, do we think it's okay? Do we think it's fine? Some of it you're going to have to trust staff that they reviewed those technical questions. You're just looking and say, does it fit? But it's not something that you can turn down unless you see something wrong with the plat, because they have met the standards usually by the time they've got through us of the current code. But it doesn't hurt to ask questions if you are concerned about any part of that. Then your responsibility at that point is you still can table it. You can recommend it for approval to city council, or you can deny it. Those are your three choices.
Any questions on that, commissioners? Okay. Then we will begin first with the Summerfield subdivision. This is number 11, and then we'll have 12 and 13. And I'm assuming, Alan, that you're going to present the same thing for 11, 12, and 13.
I can, and you have, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Spencer, we can present all three and you can recommend them in one action as long as you call out each one of those plats as part of your motion. Are we all correct with that?
All right.
Okay. But we want you to look at each one individually, and that's what I will show you.
Yeah.
Starting with number 11, it shows you this is the location on the map and the plat. You've probably all seen this. You should have had it in your file. Summerfield Lane runs right along here, which is the main entrance coming into Summerfield. The large church house is right here.
So in fact, Alan, on that next tab on your browser, I pulled up the Summerfield webpage,
Yes.
and it's a lot clearer to see things that way.
Yeah, so here's your church house. Here's your Summerfield Lane. Is this marked out with the ones that have actually been sold?
Yeah, those are all sold.
Okay, so what you're looking at is the ones back in here, all through here, and I'm taking 11, 12, and 13.
Yeah.
All through here, and then all through here. You will complete everything within this as being platted with these three actions tonight.
And does it go, find that master map
It goes to the border
of the,
to the north. I'll pull it.
okay, it goes clear to the townhomes.
Correct. There is one row of homes already approved
Yeah.
on the east side of it.
So what caused them to put this as three different submissions?
I think it's a financing issue where they come in and go, okay, we want to keep these as individual ones. They have done this all the way through. They just only do so many at a time. The last time we went through this, I believe there was either two, I know there was two, possibly three, the last time we approved one. But there's a developer, Karchner's, is building them, but another one, Ball Ventures, actually owns the ground. And they have a joint venture where they work together, and I think somehow it has to do with that arrangement. that they have the individual plats. Because once they are sold, then the money's distributed however they have it set up.
And this was split into phases? Is that why this wasn't all platted?
It's master planned, and that's what you've seen on this one that's shown.
Yeah,
So this is your master plan of the whole area. Well, not all of it.
You can zoom out on that far left. Yeah, go left more, right there, and scroll that down.
Go the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only showing, oh, there we go. So that's pretty much the master plan. Here's your townhomes in here. Here's the clubhouse park. These ones in here have already been platted, these here. And this is a master plan. The reason they don't do them all at once is because they make modifications and do something different as they move along. So the master plan is to come in and say, hey, City of Rexburg, here's where we anticipate the roads are gonna go, the park's gonna go. And so we have that idea of how things are going to connect.
okay. But the entire project was zoned at the same time?
Correct.
And then with, I'm guessing this was a PUD?
It is a PUD,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, that's how they did what they did with the townhomes,
Makes
being able to do that. And they've changed setbacks and those rules because of the PUD. More questions?
Now, you showed a picture back where the green stripe is along the top, and then was like a home up there in the right corner. We're not talking clear to that home then, are we?
Now, the home, well, there's a house lot sitting up here.
That one right there, up,
one?
yeah.
Yeah, that's not a home on it right now, but it does not include that. It stops right here. This is their border.
And obviously, by the time it gets to us, all infrastructure is met.
Yes.
Any requirements of roads and bridges and all that kind of stuff is all met.
Yeah, and they've even met with, usually they've met with power company, the gas company. They've got a DEQ letter saying we're okay with this system. So they've received all of that. We check off on all of that first.
Is the widening of the road on 12th West anticipated growth because of this area, or is it just
It
because
will
of
affect
need?
it. It will affect it in the future because the more people fill into here, the more pressure there is on that road, and the more you will increase the number of vehicles needing to be moved through there quicker, or at least at a normal speed. So right now, there's no anticipation of expanding it. Power company's moving the lines because they know in the future that could happen.
Got it.
And it all depends on as soon as somebody develops, then they have to build their section of the road out.
Oh, really? So the city actually isn't going to pave that right now?
No. No, we're waiting for developers to do that.
Okay.
I think they had some bad poles in there, and they just thought, we've got to change it. Let's move it into the correct position.
Okay, commissioners, any other questions for Alan?
Do you want me to show you 12 and 13 also?
Yes, yes, please. I know Spence loves a long meeting, but I don't.
Yeah. So here's your number 11, it shows that. This one comes into number 12, which then you're looking at just below it. The other one sits just above it here. And then 13
Would be,
finishes up the rest of
kinda
it. This
one.
one's closer to the west.
what's in here?
But I'll take you to another page. This shows you all three of them. So here's 11, and then 12 and 13. I think 12's up here and 13's down here, or vice versa. That's where they fit.
Everything in the yellow. Yeah,
Everything.
yeah, that's right there.
Okay.
It shows you the boundaries of what you're actually approving.
Do you know how many lots altogether?
I did.
28
It's
lots?
67.
67.
It's roughly in that area.
Okay. Anything else from you, Alan?
We would ask you to consider recommending this for approval to the city council.
It will have city utilities.
Yep.
Yeah, the city line is to the west
Yeah,
of this development.
they're within city limits. They have to go on city sewer and water.
Yeah, that red line.
Here's your boundaries.
Okay.
And the same developer owns all of this clear up into here. And I believe they own this one too.
Yes. Okay. Thanks, Alan.
Welcome.
Okay, before we begin, are there any conflicts of interest to be brought forward? I live in the subdivision, but I'm not financially gaining on this, but I do want to make it clear, I do live in the subdivision of Summerfield. So, we all clear on that, commissioners? Okay. All right, we will open, and this is a public hearing, right? No, it's not. Okay, so we don't have to have public hearings, great. Okay, then we will open it up for discussion amongst commissioners, if there is any.
So it does not include an impeachment on any canals, ditches, or whatever that farmers may need west of this property?
There is a ditch on the north side. It's big enough, it's gonna have to stay. No discussion?
It's nice to, I think it's nice to see, a development progressing and more lots and opportunities to build. The lot sizes seem reasonable for what people can afford right now. So I like it.
Yeah, in fact, this next phase, phase 11, I think is that top one. There's some larger lots in there. And against the canal and against some big trees.
So you get some variety. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's good development.
Any other comments? Okay, well, if whoever's gonna make a motion, will please make a motion for 11, 12, and 13. And I will entertain that motion.
This is not a rezone, it's not a replat, it's a what?
It's the plat approval.
It is a plat approval.
Okay.
Recommended approval to city council.
I'll make a motion, Chair. I'll make a motion that we recommend to City Council the approval of these plats for Summerfield Division number 11, 12, and 13, as they have met the requirements, staff review, and we feel it's a continued good fit for this area.
Okay. Motion made, seconded?
I second it.
Seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
And that's Aaron,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Correct.
Any, what's the word I'm looking for? Any opposed? None. Okay. Motion passes as a recommendation to City Council. Okay, that's all we got on the agenda, right? As far as March 6th, we've got a joint work meeting. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yes, you got a joint one with city council. I can't remember what we're doing it on.
Is that the housing presentation?
Yeah.
From someone, I think?
Single-family housing, we have trouble with that middle income and the sustainable housing. So they're going to do a presentation on some of their research. Economic Development's been doing a long-term study, and we've been working with them. So they want to present that, so you get a better understanding of what's affecting the nation, what's affecting Rexburg, and possibly solutions. So
And we're gonna see all 5 of these high school students there on March 6th as well, right?
I believe their try-ins before then, doesn't it?
That young man's trying to get out of here.
Alan, have you ever released your statistics you found on
That I
number of
developed?
acres?
I have not,
Why?
because I have not presented it to city council yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I need to get it to them. I'm gonna schedule them the next city council to take 5-10 minutes in theirs and present it. And then I'll get it out so everybody can have a copy,
Yeah.
so you can see that one. You also have coming up on the 21st, a rezone. This is on the Erickson property right there next to Alpine Propane. And there's another one we just finished getting ready, and it's Rotary Park over behind the junior high. The city is going to, in conjunction with Rotary, they're going to take that park out and rezone it and split it and sell those as house lots. And then they're gonna move that money into one of the other parks to develop them.
And that's on the other side of the canal, right? In the Mahalo?
Yeah, it's right between Rick's Palmer and Mill Hollow Trailer Park. And so they'll be home lots, but it'll be right there. They just felt that would be a better use for their money, is to invest it in. And I don't know if it's going to the Barney Dairy one, because they are doing work on that this next year, but it will just revert to another park, is what it'll do. So you have that one and this one coming up. We do have 2 or 3 other rezones. It'll probably hit us in April. That has happened. So they've applied, but by the time we get through the posting and everything, it takes them almost 2 months to get that done. There's a lot of tire kicking going on right now, but we haven't had a whole lot actually hit us yet with the applications. We have received our responses to the RFP for the downtown. We actually had 4 different groups that applied for that. We're in the process of now calculating them out. We have to run a rubric on them to see who meets the qualifications. And it'll be around the 15th of March, I think they will announce who has received that bid.
And that's for that entire block?
There's 3 actual locations.
Oh, you got, yeah, the parking lot, yeah.
The first one is the Old Porter parking lot. That is the first one. And then you have, this one's kind of a weird shape. You take this part of it, and then this part of it, this building will remain and Beehive will remain. Unless the developers can convince them to join with them. But as far as us, that's what the city has. And then you also have this lot right here. And the doctors have said they're interested. It'll be something they'll work out with them, the 2 dentists that are working there. So we've received that, and we're actually, it's gonna be interesting to see.
Have those plans been,
$65 million project.
have those plans been made public?
No,
And this is being kind of done under the new
it'll be under the form-based code.
Yeah, new
Yep,
form base, okay.
is what it
Interesting,
falls
yeah.
under.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, we can't release any of that until the RFP is released, because they do have sensitive information that's specific to their companies that can't be revealed. But there's a full committee. Urban Renewal is on it. Some of staff is on it, and then I think there's some from just the public that's also involved in that.
Okay.
So that one's happening. We all know that the temple, they announced the groundbreaking on that. June 1.
Is that all zoned where it needs to be?
They are okay where they're at. TAG will allow a temple, and we actually give them a conditional use permit
On that, the steeple, right?
for that upper piece, for them to put the temple in, and the stake center.
So we may not have to see that again.
You will for anything. They've now split it into 5 lots. They shrunk the size of the one the temple's sitting on. They have one just to the west of it, and then there's now 3 lots that run along Moody, big long ones. But you will see that for rezone and plating, because when it comes in, they're going to have either housing or they're going to have commercial, and they're going to have to plat those.
So that's not showing up yet It has 5 different lots.
No, because we just finished signing the paperwork yesterday. But it's a short plat, so it doesn't come in front of you guys. Anything 5 or less is done internally. But when they finally come in and do the next split requires coming in front of you guys, even if it's just one. So, because that puts them at the 6.
It went from 2 entities owning that property to 1. Has that, with the splits, did it change into multiple?
There was a developer that bought it and then turned around and resold it to the church. And I think it's always been under just one, the presiding bishopric. But eventually, the rumor is it will split because the church has a nonprofit side of it where they build their churches, temples, and that. And then they have a commercial entity which then pays taxes and the whole works. They assume that those guys will take over that other part. And they'll be the ones developing it. Or they may just sell it off. We don't know. They have given us no indication of what they want to do on any of that. So.
Okay.
And I think they took their announcement and just pulled the original one and just put the start date and the rendering in it. Because they still list 130,000 square feet on 16.6 acres. My understanding is both those numbers are wrong. I know the acreage is wrong, but I don't know for sure what the square footage of the temple. Because they had multiple different numbers we were hearing. So we're not sure. And there will not be an Angel Moroni on this. They say they're not putting them on any of them now.
Interesting.
So.
Interesting.
So.
All right.
That's going on. We have a lot of other commercial. We have Good to Go going on the other end. And like I said, we have got a lot of people in here researching to put stuff in. So
A lot of commercial.
almost everything's commercial. Very little residential is showing up. 2 or 3 different projects. And some of those are fairly significant residential ones. But I would say the majority of it's going to be commercial.
Do you anticipate that picking up even more now that the groundbreaking is?
I think it'll pick up more, and I think when you start seeing some of these other ones start construction, it will start filtering in. And we're seeing it on both ends of the town. In fact, even in the middle, and that's not counting what we're looking at in the downtown. It's going to keep Brett's crew very busy because he says the temple alone will keep 1.5 of his guys' time just doing the inspections for that. And so he's only got 4, so he's going to be running ragged. And they have a lot of dirt to haul in, and it's, you take what's happening up there, I think they said 40 loads a day of dirt or more, 18 feet.
Wow.
They're coming up 18 feet. Yeah, I don't know how big, I don't know how quick they're gonna taper off, but, so that road's gonna be very busy. Then you've got the construction on Main, where they're doing the diverging diamond, and on the South Exchange. And they're doing Pioneer Road. That one's getting all ground out and rebuilt.
Pioneer Road's being redone this year.
Yes, and they want that done before the diverging diamonds start. And then they will start on the south one first. 'Cause that way they can leave, they don't want any interference for the air show on the 15th. And they want to get that done before college and high school starts up again. And then they'll come back in and do that one. But there'll be stoplights on the North Exchange, and that will be done right out of the gate too. Yeah.
So you're saying this is the summer from hell?
It'll be the summer that if you don't have to go to Rexburg or leave Rexburg, stay home. Or pick some odd hours so that you don't come in during rush hour.
East Idaho News had reported on a restaurant going on south of town. Is that restaurant official at all?
Nope. All I can tell you is we are approving a shell for a business. They have not announced what it is.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else, commissioners? Sounds like we need to buckle down and get ready for a busy spring.
Enjoy the ones that you don't have to show up for, because the others could be busy. And some of them may be a bit controversial.
Yeah.
I hope not, but that's always a possibility.
Yeah. Okay. Students that are left, any questions for us? Okay. Know that we are not elected, we're appointed. That might be something you put in there, so.
And paid, right?
And paid mucho grande.
It's unbelievable.
Enough to go get some mucho grande Taco Bell. That's about it. So,
But not for the whole family.
but not for the whole family, depending on how big your family is.
And how much they eat.
Yeah. All right, we will dismiss. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.